always felt like I wasn't giving enough. Not in my friendships, not in my relationship. It made me feel like I was somehow always falling short, like I wasn't pulling my weight emotionally. It wasn't until that I had this one conversation that included a message that someone once received from a close friend, someone that I actually wish that I got to know myself, because it changed everything that I believed around giving, value, and balance. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Notes to Self podcast. I'm your host, Huynh, and today's episode is for anyone who's ever questioned whether they're giving enough in a relationship, romantic or platonic. You'll know if this is you. Maybe you feel like the people around you are constantly showing up, doing big things, offering their support, or just being really generous with their time and their energy. And you catch yourself wondering, am I really giving anything back? This was me too, until a message from a friend reminded me how much we actually overlook the ways that we give just by being ourselves. So I was talking to a close friend recently, someone who's been really present in my life and is very deeply giving. I had this uncomfortable feeling in my chest, like there was this sort of imbalance between us, like he was giving more and I wasn't keeping up. And I told him that, in full honesty. I told him that I've been feeling kind of unbalanced in our dynamic. Like he was showing up with all this time, effort, generosity, and I was quietly wondering, am I giving enough back? I told him how in my mind it almost starts to become like a sliding scale, where it's like, you did this for me, so somehow I need to match it. Same effort, same weight, same energy. Otherwise, it just really starts to feel like I'm not holding up my side. And this is what he had to say to me. That's valid to feel, but if I can offer a perspective, I have my special talents and you have yours. I take equally from you as you do from me. I'm a lucky guy to receive the values that you share with me through our conversations, your emotional intelligence, your maturity, your kindness. He said, never feel like you're not giving enough. It's one thing for me to say this, it's another for you to feel it yourself. Have confidence in the value that you've built for yourself and what it brings into other people's lives. And what he didn't know in that moment was hearing someone describe my presence like that, so clearly, so directly, and without me actually having to do anything to earn it, really struck something in me. Reading that message was when it hit me that maybe this sense of imbalance that I was feeling wasn't actually real. And maybe I was just expecting my giving to look like his. When I read that message, my brain was trying to make these new connections, but I could still feel old programming trying to protect me because I wanted to believe him, but my mind was still whispering, okay, how exactly am I giving though? Can I see it? Can I match it? Can I prove it? Then I realized that maybe the reason that I couldn't actually feel equal in my friendships or relationships was because I hadn't yet internalized the idea that value doesn't always come in action. Sometimes it comes in how you hold space. Sometimes it's who you are, not just what you do. And until you realize and see your value outside of performance, you'll always question whether you're giving enough. Here's why we struggle to see our value. I think a lot of us actually do this, especially if you've grown up in a place needing to prove your worth through your actions. My brain would say, they did something for me, so now I need to do something back, and it has to match their visibility, effort, and timing. Otherwise, I'm falling behind. But what I'm learning is this: giving doesn't always look like matching. Sometimes it looks like balancing. And we all give in different ways, but it doesn't make it unequal. It actually makes it complementary. Some people will give through sharing their resources, others will give through their perspectives and their experience, and others will give through material means and their personal time. Neither is better than the other. Neither has to be reciprocated in the exact same way in order to be valued, and that's something that I've come to learn recently. The message that tied it all together. So later in that same conversation, my friend shared a message that he once received from someone close to him, someone who's no longer here, but someone who I deeply resonate with just from his words alone. This message was during a time where my friend felt that he was in the same exact position that I was, where he was receiving all of these great things that his friend had to give while feeling like he also did not provide any value. And this message was his friend imparting some reassurance to him. One thing about you and I is that we have the ability to learn so much from each other. You said you like chilling with me because you learn things from me, but you might forget how much I learn from you too. That line really stopped me, because how often is it that we feel that it's the other person giving all of the wisdom, all of the impact, without realizing how we're also showing up for them in quiet and meaningful ways as well. Your presence might be what grounds someone. Your emotional honesty might be the thing that inspires them to be able to go deeper. Your energy might be the thing that allows a person to feel like they can breathe. Parallels in relationships. So this didn't just show up in my friendships. This showed up in my previous relationship too. There were so many times where I felt that I wasn't doing enough, especially when he would show up in these really thoughtful, action-oriented, and problem-solving ways. I used to question myself a lot, asking, am I even contributing? And over time, I realized I was. I just wasn't giving in the way that looked like giving to me. There were a lot of times where I would think about whether I was meeting him at the same level. And here's the truth. I wasn't always as nurturing as he needed me to be. There were a lot of times where I would withdraw when what he needed from me was to lean in. Moments where I struggled to soften my tone or offer warmth during conflict because my defenses were too loud. But even so, I realized that that doesn't mean that I wasn't giving at all. I gave in the ways that I could at the time. I did my best to understand him, even when I felt triggered or reactive. I did my best to regulate my nervous system in the ways that I knew how, even if I wasn't successful all of the time. I showed up after the hard moments, after I've had time to process, and I came back ready to communicate and repair. Most importantly, I reflected, I learned, and I stayed. And that too is giving. Maybe not in the big and obvious ways, but in the willingness to keep trying even if it was hard. Even if I didn't always express it in the ways that he hoped, I now know that the effort still mattered. Maybe part of what I gave wasn't just the comfort, but the mirror. Through me, he was able to reflect on who he was, what he wanted in a partner, and what he needed to feel loved. And even with my shortcomings, even with the places where I didn't quite get there, became valuable for his growth. And that's the thing. Sometimes the value that we give in a relationship isn't through being the perfect partner or friend. It's through being the partner or friend that leaves the other person with clarity. And honestly, that counts too. Now, when I reflect on what it means to give, it's not always through doing the most. Sometimes it's through a shared laugh that softens the weight of the day, or through the comfort of a hug, or eye contact that says, I'm here, or just being fully present. It's not always effortful, but it's felt. So, you don't need to give in the exact same language as someone else to be valued. The value that you bring may be invisible to you, but deeply felt by others. And you're already giving, just in ways that you've been taught not to count. Maybe that's the art of giving, knowing that it's not about how much, but how honestly you choose to show up, and letting the love behind your actions speak for themselves. Letting go of this pressure to prove and trusting that your way of caring still counts. Maybe the art of giving is offering yourself as you are, instead of who you think that you should be. If this episode really spoke to you, I think you'd really connect with my episode on heartbreak, where I walk through what it means to rebuild a sense of self and worth after loss. And if you made it this far in the episode, I suspect that that must mean that you enjoy the content that I put out. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this video with someone who might need this reminder today. And if you love all things self-discovery, personal development, and mindset, I have a full playlist of my podcast episodes that you can jump into after this one. Until next time, I just really want to say that you are giving more than you think. You are enough, and I am really, really glad that you're here with me and we're learning through this together. I'll catch you guys in my other episodes. Bye.